If you pay for injection molding tooling, you control the manufacturing, right? That's not how it works. Most manufacturing contracts include clauses that keep your tooling physically locked inside the factory, regardless of who paid for it. The factory controls when you can access it, when you can modify it, and whether you can move it to another supplier. This isn't about legal ownership. It's about operational control. After 30 years developing more than 2,000 products, I've seen this over and over. Founders think they own their manufacturing, but the contract structure quietly gives the factory the leverage. The companies that keep control aren't the ones that got the cheapest tooling quote. They're the ones that structure tooling control before production started. Let me show you how this actually works. Point 1. Physical possession creates operational control. Most manufacturing contracts include a clause that sounds harmless, something like tooling will remain on site for operational efficiency. Translation: the factory physically controls your tools, even if you paid for them. And moving injection molds isn't that simple. These tools weigh hundreds or thousands of pounds. They require specialized equipment to remove, transport, and reinstall. Factories can delay that process through logistics and scheduling. Then there's insurance. Many factories claim their policies require tooling to remain on site. So even when your contract technically allows removal, they have legitimate reasons to resist it. Tooling maintenance becomes another control lever. Factories may say the tool needs repairs before it can be moved or modified. That can delay you for weeks or even months. If the factory is overseas, the situation gets worse. Customs documentation is often controlled by the manufacturer, which creates another barrier to moving tooling internationally. Then come the storage fees. If the tool sits unused, factories charge monthly storage. Now you're financially pressured to keep production there. And during busy production periods, factories prioritize relationships, not contracts. Who gets machine time first? The clients they want to keep happy, not necessarily you. That's how physical possession becomes operational control. Point 2. Contract language that determines manufacturing flexibility. Now let's look at the contract language that makes this possible. The most common clause is tooling custody. This means the factory keeps exclusive physical access. You may own the tooling on paper, but operationally, they control it. Next are modification restrictions. Many agreements require factory approval before you can make any tooling changes. That means you can't easily improve the design or change materials without their consent. Multi-cavity tooling adds another layer. Factories can control which cavities run and when. That affects your production capacity and minimum order quantities. Maintenance clauses often require factory-approved vendors. So even if an independent tooling expert could fix a problem faster, you're not allowed to use them. Documentation control is another trap. Factories often keep the only complete tooling records. Without those files, independent inspection or replication becomes difficult. Termination clauses also create leverage. Contracts may require reasonable notice periods. That can be months. During that time, the factory still controls your tooling. If you move the tooling, quality validation testing may be required again, which the original factory may influence through certification or documentation. All of this gives them operational leverage. If you're developing a product and haven't reviewed your manufacturing contract's tooling clauses yet, you could be signing away operational control before production even starts. I offer free manufacturing strategy sessions where we review your tooling agreements and identify the clauses that could lock you into dependency. Click the link in the description to secure your manufacturing independence before you commit to production. Point 3. How control becomes financial leverage. Once the factory controls your tooling, the financial impact starts. Moving tooling usually comes with setup and removal fees. Those can cost 30 to 50% of the original tooling investment. That alone discourages switching suppliers. Then there's tooling depreciation. Some contracts structure depreciation schedules that extend beyond the product life cycle, meaning you remain financially tied to the factory. Minimum production commitments also appear in tooling agreements. If market demand changes and you produce less, the factory gains pricing leverage. Spare parts become another dependency. If replacement components require tooling access, the factory controls your operational continuity. Quality issues create similar challenges. You may need the tool adjusted or repaired, but the factory decides when that happens, not you. Inventory requirements can also be tied to tooling usage, meaning you must maintain certain production volumes, even if your market doesn't support it. In payment terms, they often favor the factory. Extended payment cycles maintain immediate control over your production capacity. Over time, these small clauses create a big reality. You paid for the tooling, but they control production. production. Point 4. How experienced engineers structure agreements. Experienced teams prevent this problem before production begins. The first step is tooling portability clauses. These specify exact procedures, timelines, and costs for removing tooling, not ambiguity. Second, smart contracts require complete documentation packages, drawings, specifications, maintenance records, all provided in standardized formats that you control. Third, experienced engineers design tooling using standard processes, not proprietary systems. That way, multiple qualified factories can run your molds, not just one. Good agreements also separate tooling ownership from manufacturing services, meaning your tools can operate with multiple suppliers if necessary. Independent tooling inspections are another safeguard. Before accepting delivery, experts verify condition and performance. This prevents disputes later. Professional contracts also define escalation procedures. If tooling access becomes a dispute, there's a clear resolution path that doesn't require expensive litigation. The best manufacturing partners, they don't rely on control leverage. They build sustainable partnerships because long-term relationships outperform forced dependency. Manufacturing control doesn't come from writing the check for tooling. It comes from tooling access and portability provisions. The factories offering the lowest tooling quotes often structure the agreements that maximize their leverage later. Smart founders adjust tooling control during the first contract negotiation, not after production problems reveal their lack of leverage. Your manufacturing independence depends on the decisions made before the first part is produced, not after you realize you're locked in. Now you understand how tooling control clauses work, but negotiating them in real manufacturing contracts requires experience those founders don't have. I've seen too many inventors discover these problems after signing agreements that lock them in for years. At Rabbit, we review manufacturing contracts before you sign them, not after the damage is done. We'll show you exactly which tooling clause to negotiate and how to structure agreements that protect your manufacturing flexibility. In 30 years, I've learned one thing. Protecting your tooling rights up front prevents years of manufacturing dependency later. So click on the link below to discuss your manufacturing situation and watch my next video, how I get high quality manufacturing 50% cheaper, to see the strategies that build leverage instead of giving it away.